How dangerous can a slow-moving creature in the desert really be? At first glance, it may look like just another slow-moving reptile, but this creature, which lives in Arizona's hot deserts, can be far more dangerous than you might think when it goes on the defensive. Moreover, scientists have been carefully studying its venom for years. So what makes this slow-moving reptile so terrifying? Named after the Gila River region in Arizona, this creature has been the subject of horror legends for years due to its menacing appearance and unusual defense system. That's why people gave it the name Gila monster. In the past, many indigenous communities and desert travelers told terrifying stories about this creature. Due to its bright patterns, slow movements, and hard-looking scales, it was viewed for many years as a mysterious desert creature. Some people even believed its breath was poisonous, so they went out of their way to avoid encountering it. Over time, these terrifying stories spread, and the Gila monster became one of the living legends of the Arizona deserts. Now let's take a closer look at this legend. The Gila monster inhabits the arid deserts of North America, particularly in the Arizona and Sonora regions. This reptile, which can grow up to 2 feet in length, is one of the largest lizard species on the American continent. The unwritten first rule of survival in the desert is to be invisible. But unlike many desert creatures, it does not blend into its surroundings. On the contrary, it prefers to stand out with its bright orange, pink, and black colors. This is called aposematic coloration. Its bright colors serve as a warning to predators, signaling that it is a dangerous or defensive creature. If you look closely at its skin, you'll notice that those beaded structures aren't ordinary scales. These structures are small bony plates called osteoderms, embedded directly into the skin. This unique structure gives its skin a hard, armor-like appearance. It is believed that the Gila monster has undergone very little change over millions of years. That's why observing it can feel like watching a prehistoric creature. However, such a heavily armored and primitive-looking structure comes with certain costs in nature. In nature, no ability comes without a price. Moving slowly in a desert environment is a serious disadvantage for most creatures. Therefore, thanks to the bony armor covering its back, head, and tail, it demonstrates strong resilience against attacks by jackals or predatory birds. The main reason for its slow movement is actually this heavy armor it carries. But could thick armor and strong defense really be enough to survive in the desert? Of course not. Because in such a harsh environment, being resilient isn't enough. You also need to be able to find food at the right time. This is where an intriguing feature comes into play. Even though it moves slowly, the way it perceives its surroundings is one of the most important advantages that allows it to find prey in the desert. It collects chemical particles in the air using its forked tongue, which it constantly extends and retracts. This information is then transmitted to an advanced olfactory center called the Jacobson's organ, located on the roof of its mouth. It doesn't try to catch its prey quickly. Instead, it tracks scents in its surroundings to locate burrows and hidden creatures. What truly makes the Gila monster legendary is another feature: the unusual defense method it uses when threatened. Most venomous snakes quickly affect their prey with hollow venom fangs in their upper jaw. The Gila monster's method, however, works very differently. Its venom glands are located not in the upper jaw, but in the lower jaw. Additionally, Its teeth are not hollow like a syringe. Instead, they have a ridged structure with fine channels on their surfaces. It behaves like a slow, yet hard-to-stop threat, straight out of old Arizona desert cowboy tales. The Arizona desert is ruthless. It feels like hell during the day and freezing cold at night. However, this reptile has developed powerful adaptations to survive between these extremes. In such a harsh environment, constant movement means a significant loss of energy for many creatures. The Gila monster, however, has developed a completely different life strategy to solve this problem. It spends most of the day under rocks, in burrows, or in the shade. It uses its energy so efficiently that it stores the food it eats as fat in its thick tail. This allows it to survive even during the driest, harshest months of the desert, sometimes feeding only 3 or 4 times a year. It spends nearly 90% of its life resting motionless in cool underground burrows. So, the Gila monster's slow movement isn't just due to its heavy armor. In fact, it is an extremely efficient creature that manages to survive by carefully conserving its energy against the desert's harsh conditions. This low-energy lifestyle directly affects its development process. Gila monsters grow quite slowly. It can sometimes take up to 10 years for them to reach full adult size. This slow development process is seen as part of their low-energy lifestyle. When it feels threatened, it uses its powerful jaw muscles to clamp down on its opponent. Unlike many other reptiles, it does not immediately pull away after brief contact. While keeping its jaws clamped shut for a while, the venom secreted from glands in its lower jaw travels through the fine grooves in its teeth, beginning to take effect. However, nature can sometimes hold surprising discoveries even within the most unexpected creatures. This is because a special protein called exendin 4, found in the Gila monster's venom, helped lead to the development of important medications used in the treatment of type 2 diabetes following years of research. Once viewed merely as a fearsome desert reptile, this creature has now become one of the species drawing attention in modern medical research. Considering all this, perhaps people have misunderstood it for many years, because its story speaks not of fear, but of adaptation to nature's harsh conditions. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this topic. Our next stop is Oklahoma. This small creature, hidden beneath the rocks and active only at night, might be very different from what you imagine.